if electoral offenders, attached as they are to powerful politicians, do not have any strong deterrence, they will continue to get away with it. And Section 22 of the Electoral Act of 2022, which we say we need to reform, will remain, ineffectual, to use a more correct phrase. Now, as for Minister of Power, Adelabu, Minister of Power was speaking yesterday at an energy conference. And two things that he said. He says Nigeria has capacity to generate electricity up to, did he say 19 gigawatts, which is more than megawatts and all of that. But we cannot do that. And then he says that government is going to set a minimum capital adequacy, threshold for the electricity discourse. And three, that any company that does not meet that threshold would have to be kicked out. Now, this is not the first time that Minister of Power will be threatening the discourse. He says the discourse are the problem children within the value chain. But he's wrong on that score. Let's start with that. Because indeed, number one, when the Jonathan administration did this transition, program for electricity, the arrangement was that the discos, the private investors, will be responsible for 60% of funding. Government will be responsible for 40% of the funding in what is more or less a joint venture partnership. But the federal government of Nigeria has always failed to meet up to its own expectations, creating a situation, therefore, since 1960, whereby what we do in the electricity sector is trial and error, with far-reaching consequences, severe consequences for manufacturing sector, for ordinary Nigerians. In some other countries, Doha has a population of about 3 million plus. The actual people of Doha, what you call indigenous, there are 300,000 people. The rest of the population is made up by outsiders. They have electricity 24 hours in Doha. Nigeria is also an oil-producing company. We can't manage gas. We can't manage any resource. So the finger that Adelabu is pointing to discourse, the remaining fingers are pointing to government in terms of its trial and error approach. Two, he said a lot of other things about the Electricity Act of 2023 and what the government has been trying to do to empower the states to also generate and regulate and all of that. Well, how much are we getting in that direction? That is another question. He talked about, discourse, but the problem is with the value chain. How about the transmission companies? How about the generation companies? These discourse distribution companies, they were thoroughly discredited under President Muhammadu Buhari, so that many of these discourse, banks lost confidence in them. And they had the problem of capital and all of that, and the problem of the issue of metering that was introduced. They cannot do it because there is no money. I think that what the minister should do